Stick with that. Health, family, business. That's the only three-phase process we should be working on because it's been proven to work. It creates a foundation of success in all aspects of your life. That's what we should be talking about. Don't be restricted by these arbitrary rules that seem to be made up every single day. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, AZ Araujo. Go ahead and check in as you're coming on board. And today's subject is show no shame. Show no shame. Now, I think we're all fatigued, right? We have the coronavirus fatigue, and it is a symptom. It is a symptom of something that is wearing on all of us, right? That is wearing on the economy, wearing on our confidence, wearing on just about every aspect of our life. There is no news outside of the coronavirus period. Everything else, all crime has subsided, right? All other newsworthy items have gone away. It's all about the coronavirus. And today, I am going to encourage you to just listen carefully and make your own assessments of what we need to do as small business owners, as the leaders of our household, and not be prisoners of what others are telling us to essentially do, right? And, today's subject is show no shame. Now, I hit a great milestone just last week, just Saturday, as a matter of fact, 2 days ago. I hit 52 miles in 4 weeks. And I've ran 52 miles in 4 weeks. And I'm not talking about just jogging. I'm talking about going between 90 to 100% of my capacity, of my ability, going all in where my bones and my joints and every muscle and tendon attached to it is just hurting, right? Keeping me up at night. And I made this proclamation that I would finish 100 miles in 8 weeks. And just Saturday, I passed that threshold. I balanced the scales, right? I was in a deficit where there was more miles left, right, than I had to do. There was still a lot more miles left. And now I've kind of balanced the scales where I have less miles than what I've already accomplished. And I did this proclamation, and I said, you know what, I am going to do 100 miles. And I was pretty excited about it. And I invited a bunch of people. I invited you. I put it out on Facebook. And it was a proclamation to myself that I know how to overcome big stresses. I know how to overcome my own fears, right? I know how to overcome big obstacles, and that is to challenge myself further than anything that's outside of me. And I've mentioned this before, but during week number 3, right, as I was accumulating my miles, we were sitting out here outside of HQ, and there was a gentleman that walks out, older gentleman, walks by us at this little pathway that's here at headquarters, and he just made a comment of, oh, are you guys harboring coronavirus, right? Because there was a group of us. Now, we were doing our best to make sure that we were keeping 6 feet apart, and this is outside. We're not in a room. We're not a 10 by 10 foot room. We're outside enjoying the beauty of life. The beauty of life. And he makes a comment. And, I didn't know it impacted me, but it did. Because I felt shame in that moment. I felt shame for taking care of myself. I felt shame for having a group of individuals outside that are too on the same pathway as I am of taking care of ourselves. And I started shutting that process down. I didn't talk about it as much. I didn't take pictures with groups of individuals like I first did. As a matter of fact, you may have noticed I stopped promoting it within our organization because I didn't realize that I felt shame for trying to stay healthy and strong and not hiding in a corner, hiding in my house, being told what the best way to do or the best things to do to protect myself. And I know this. 41 years of experience, I know what the best measures are to take care of myself. Yet, I allowed others to shame me, and I allowed others to tell me what the best measures are. I understand that my health is my greatest antibody. And I have no shame for that, because I work on it every single day. There's some people that spend more money a month on alcohol versus vitamins. I spend hundreds each month on vitamins. And I'm not going to have shame for being healthy and understanding that I will be able to overcome any disease that comes my way, because I'm also mentally strong, and no one's going to take that away from me. Health is my greatest vaccine. Taking care of myself and not being afraid of what others are imposing and shoving down our throats as to how you should operate your business and how you should operate your life. I know any great disease, we all have a fighting chance if we have the right mindset, if we have the right resiliency. But at the moment we cower, the disease takes over. At the moment we buy in to that we have no hope, when we lose hope, the diseases take over. And when you shut down, that is the first step of allowing yourself to succumb to such things. So, as of right now, I will have zero shame for taking care of myself, for doing the right things over years, over decades. And I've invited you to come along on the same path for years. But we have to stand strong here now. And we can't automatically discredit ourselves for doing the right things over years. Just like those that have shown great success in their careers, they should not shame themselves for being in a good position right now. I felt the burdens of not taking care of myself. I felt the burdens of not having a strong foundation for my business. I will not take that shame on today. And there's a lot of people that are hurting, and I'm paying for them. Especially the ones that were dictated by the government to shut down. I pain for those people. But it is not my pain, it is not your pain. And I pain for those that are terrified that the disease may take them because they haven't taken care of themselves. Or maybe they're older, and I get it. Listen, there's a greater risk for me to be to succumb to a disease than it is a 20-year-old or a 15-year-old. But I'm not going to stop that 15-year-old or that 20-year-old from living their life. I have to take the precautions, just like my mom has to take her precautions. She's not imposing that on me, and she would never do such a thing. But yet we're allowing others to impose their fears on us. I've done the right things. The biggest tragedy through all this is to shut down because of these fears, to shut down your business, to shut down your resiliency and your goals and ambitions, to shut down your life through all this. Because time will pass and this will all be a distant memory. But what will linger are the consequences. The consequences of not having money, the stresses that we just imposed on ourselves because we decided to shut down because of other people's fears and pains. I've had this conversation too with my daughters. I don't want them to shut down their life because of other people's fears, or pains, or loss. We went through this entire process of setting up our trust a couple of years ago. And the conversation was brutally honest with my daughters. And I had to have this conversation because I don't want her to lose her life, over mine or my wife's. And I told her, and we told her, when we pass, we pass. It doesn't mean you kill your life as well, where you shut down your life, because we have lived our life. And that is the mindset that I have. And I think it's the mindset we all should have. Because there's more consequences for shutting down your own life. I've seen it firsthand. Someone passes in the family, and the kids are left with the sorrow for years and years and years, shutting themselves off from building anything great in their lives, shutting themselves from their own family, killing their own lives, slowly, painfully. Feeling sorry for themselves, when in fact, it's the other person that actually passed. It's not being about incentive. It's not about being insensitive. Got stuck there. It's about realizing that we've been given the gift of life. And living in fear is not one of them. Living in sorrow is not life. And taking someone else's fears and struggles may not be your life. It's none of our lives. So, we shouldn't have shame for what we have created. And some people will learn many lessons right now. But what if this was an indication of how life moves forward? That what if it is the survival of the fittest? Are you doing your job? Are you supporting that foundation of living a healthy and long lifestyle? And it's real easy to say, well, they're looking out for our best interest, AZ. The government knows what's best for us. Yet the number one killer is heart disease, right? Number 2 is cancer. And one of the leading causes of heart disease is poor nutrition, right? And heart disease is a disorder due to poor supply of nutrition and oxygen, aka exercise, that does damage to the coronary arteries. And for the most part, it's very preventable. But poor lifestyle choices are at a much higher risk than heart disease. So if they really cared for us, then why is it that the only restaurants that are still open seem to be fast food restaurants? They're one of the leading contributors to that. And I'm not saying we should not take precautions. What I'm saying is we got to get out of this fear-based mindset. We have to provide for our families. We have to provide for ourselves. And as we start looking at what heart disease does, right, and cancer, I've been doing a lot of just, researching and just reading outside of just what's being told to us, right? And, when I come back to fast food, it's a poor diet quality, saturated fats, the processed meats, the refined carbohydrates that contributes to the saturated fats and the sodium and the sugars. I think we should be more concerned about that. And, there's risk factors with heart disease. There's risk factors with the coronavirus. Age is a risk factor. Smoking, poor diet. You have those items, you're more likely to suffer some of the consequences of any disease. Obesity, diabetes. If you have that, well, you have to take greater precautions. Physical inactivity, stress, poor hygiene. Yes. And I think it has to come down to personal choice, not dictating or mandating how we should operate. And understand that your health will always be your vaccine. Your health, your mental health will be your vaccine. So if you've been in a place where you've kind of pulled back a little, and I think we've all been guilty of that at some point, understand that the bigger consequences and the bigger issues are still going to come if you do that. There's going to be greater stress, the financial burdens, the debt, and a lot of people are not feeling that right now because they can charge it on their credit card. It's all good. Hey, listen, I have these credit cards for a reason. But that's what lingers after any big ordeal, after any illness, after any death, after holding back. It's the collateral damage that occurs. The loss of a business is going to come to many, including many in our industry, where they're going to be months behind in their debt because they decided to succumb to the lies we've been told. And I've been very skeptical from day one. And I will have no shame for continuing to live a healthy lifestyle. Now, there's some individuals that have to take greater precautions. Then do it. The effects of a loss of business, the effects of not being able to pay your bills are going to be devastating and demoralizing. It adds additional stress to your home. Uncertainty. That's a terrible feeling. Waking up every morning with high anxiety. Like when I look at all the consequences of that, a flu like the coronavirus, those symptoms feel like a walk through the park. Waking up every morning, not knowing how to pay the bills. Oh, shit. What it does to you mentally, physically. That's tough. And that's hard to come back from. You have a 99% survival rate on this coronavirus. The antibody is here. We found the vaccine, and I know what it is. Good health. And if this is exposing some of you, then we're going to do something about it. You're going to do something about it. Because you can't be taken off your path of growth and expansion anytime there's a certain virus out there. So let this be a lesson to all of us. That maybe we need to change some patterns. My own personal experiences led me down this path. because I know what it feels like to be overstressed, not to have money, waking up with self-imposed illnesses like a hangover, not being able to function for days. It was my health that created my lifestyle, and it'll be your health that'll create yours. Now, and I'm not leaving this to argue with your viewpoints, and we're all entitled to them, right? But I just want you to consider something a little different. That we can't wait until we get this mandate lifted before we start going really aggressive with our marketing. There are people that are growing their business during this time. I've been witness to it. They're taking all the necessary precautions, but they decided not to shut down to fear. Now there's like a 3 or 5 step phase process coming out that as of May 1st, which again, I don't get, they're going to be phasing this out and reopening our economy, a self-imposed closure, completely destabilizing our economy. And I think they have to go through this process because they can't just say, okay, we're open now. Then everything that they scared us about and all the statistics that have been proven wrong throughout the months, it would be too easy to just do that. It would discredit them even to a bigger, a bigger capacity. So they have to go out through this 3-phase process. So it starts May 1st. And I'm telling you, don't wait. I've been telling you not to wait. Because nothing will really change from here to then. We have that ability now. Our industry was tagged as essential. And it's been essential. And I believe every business is essential. But yet many in our industry have shut down. So now they're waiting till May 1st, kind of like a New Year's. Once May 1st comes, yes, I am going to go to the gym every single day. I am going to market every single day. And I am going to do all the things that I've not been doing. But May 1st is the day. It's the New Year's. Like, I think we're all going to remember this as the New Year's. May 1st, life changes. I'm going to start eating healthier. It's all bullshit. We can do that now. You don't need a gym. Go out and run with us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 7 a.m. So don't wait until then, until you start going after what you want. I want you to start that today. And listen, we've all been guilty of cutting back, of not showing up 100%. When I'm saying this, we can't let that linger for any more days. We restart today. I want to see your aggressiveness. I want to see your conviction. I want you in alignment with your goals today. We have to get after it. Because we shouldn't wait for a 3-phase process before we get back on track. We've had a 3-phase process to create a life on fire. And it's called the Prime 3, power, purpose, and profits. Stick with that. Health, family, business. That's the only 3-phase process we should be working on because it's been proven to work. It creates a foundation of success in all aspects of your life. That's what we should be talking about. Don't be restricted by these arbitrary rules that seem to be made up every single day. So guys, May 1st is not a New Year's resolution. The work starts now. All right, let's see what you have to say. Good morning, Claudia. Good morning, Fred. Good morning, Teresa. What are you guys hearing from this? And maybe you have been guilty of like holding back a little bit. I think we all got caught. But I think we have to question everything. And to do this voluntary shutdown of the greatest economy in my lifetime, What an atrocity. Every time there's an economic shift, you and I suffer the most. Small businesses suffer the most. Big businesses will thrive because they have the resources to bounce back quicker than we do. They can go years not showing any profits. We have to show profits every month to stay in business. And we made up 48% of the economy in 2008. We're down to 43. Small businesses are down to 43 contribution to the economy. Guess what's going to happen after this? We're going to be in the 30s. Because we're the ones at risk. You are. Big businesses, hey, this is like a power grab if you really think about it. Our contribution will be in the 30s, mark my words. From 48, almost 49% to 43 after the 2008 debacle. I can only imagine what's happening here. Big businesses are going to thrive, put small shops out of business. Even us realtors. You're going to see how these major corporations come back with a vengeance because they've been holding on to their cash a little bit. They've been working while we're all scared at home watching Netflix. Guess what Zillow's doing? Guess what Trulia is doing? Guess what all these big companies have been doing? They're not shutting down. They make you believe that so you can shut down. They're going to come back with a vengeance. Watch our market share dwindle there as well. Believe me. Big business is going to thrive. Many of us are going to feel the burdens of our inactions, the consequences of our fears, and the ramifications of the debt that's been piled up and the loss of confidence. So, what do we do about it? What are you going to do about it? Good morning, Eric. Mario, thanks for joining us. Celia, Roger, Cindy, happy Monday to you. Kim, Audra, David, Bobby. So have zero shame, okay? I want to see you guys out there exercising, posting it. Nick, Adrian, if you want to join us, I'm not gonna hold back anymore. Come out and join us. We're gonna do it responsibly. 4 miles on Tuesday, 4 miles on Thursday, 4 miles on Saturday. Cindy, yoga is my friend. Hell yeah. We figure out a way, right, Cindy? Roger, every business is essential to someone. Absolutely. Nick, you're never too old to start working out and taking good care of yourself. Never. Never. And that is the number one vaccine, right? That is the vaccine right there. I found it. That is the antibody. Health. Good morning, Caroline. After age, obesity is the biggest factor in a hospital admissions for COVID-19. It is, and it's unfortunate. And I think this is really pierced a lot of our stories, and you know, there are going to be individuals that are more at risk, and you should be taking those precautions. Those individuals that are high risk should be taking those precautions. My parents should be taking those precautions. But we can't impose this on an entire economy, on an entire human species. We can't be treated, we are not the same. And as I age, I am not the same as the 40-year-old or 30-year-old or 20-year-old. So I can't impose my risks on them. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. And we've allowed it. We've allowed it. Caroline, agreed. Roger, boom, the power of now. Nick, buy a bike and ride a few miles every other day. Just run. Just walk. Get that oxygen in your lungs. That's what happens with a heart disease. Not enough oxygen, which means no exercise. But hey, they're looking out for us. But let's go ahead and leave all the fast food restaurants open. Come on, guys. It just doesn't make sense in so many levels. Chris, next time you are staring into the fridge, ask yourself, Am I hungry or just bored? I've done a lot of bored eating, but I also bounce back. And I'm supporting that with my 100 miles, right? Kimberly, very much needed this morning. Thank you, AZ. So it takes courage, guys, to not feel the burdens of what's going on. So I'm going to encourage you to do the right things and follow this 3-phase process right here that'll get you into power, that'll help you build a foundation, that'll keep you away from the hospital, that'll keep you away from divorce court. Or maybe it's needed. For some, it's needed. And it'll keep you away from accumulating debt. Power, purpose, profits, health, family, business. There it is in a nutshell. I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. Enjoy your day. Be productive today. Raise that fist up in the air and say, I'm going after it. No shame. Let's get after it. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.